All right, so today we're diving into a case that's been in the news a lot lately.
Yeah?
The Madeline McCann case.
Right.
But with a twist.
Yeah, what is it?
We're going to be focusing on the trial that's happening right now in Germany
Okay.
of Christian Brueckner, the prime suspect.
This is interesting because even though he hasn't been formally charged with anything related to Madeline's disappearance,
Right.
he's on trial for 5 other serious offenses.
Yeah, and these allegedly took place in Portugal around the same time that Madeline disappeared.
Right.
So we're talking about some very heavy accusations.
Yes.
Multiple counts of rape.
Huh.
Indecent exposure to children.
Yeah, and the outcome of this trial could have a big impact on any potential future trial that's connected to Madeline.
Yeah, it's a very tangled web.
For sure.
What makes it even more interesting is that some of the evidence and the witnesses that are involved in this current trial could also play a role in a future Madeline McCann trial.
Oh, wow.
So it's almost like a domino effect.
Yeah.
What happens here could set off a chain reaction.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's just rewind a little bit.
Okay.
Give everyone a quick refresher
Yeah.
on the Madeline McCann case.
Sounds good.
Just to remind everyone, this case has been going on for almost 20 years now.
I know, it's crazy.
So some people might need a little catch-up.
Absolutely. So let's go back to 2007.
Okay.
3-year-old Madeline McCann vanished from her family's holiday apartment
Right.
in Praia da Luz, Portugal.
And this became a global mystery
It really did.
with countless theories and dead ends.
Yeah, it seemed like it was just never going to be solved.
Right, and it went cold for years.
It did.
But then in 2020, there was a major development.
What was that?
Christian Brueckner,
Yep.
a German man with a very troubling past,
Right.
was officially named as a suspect.
Okay, so it's important to understand
Yeah.
Brueckner has a history.
Yes, he does.
He's a convicted criminal.
Right.
History of offenses,
Including,
sexual assault,
right?
child pornography charges, and some of his previous convictions actually landed him behind bars in Portugal
Yeah.
around the same time that Madeline disappeared.
It's chilling.
It is chilling to think about.
Yeah.
And now he's facing trial in Germany for these other alleged offenses, but everyone's kind of wondering,
Right.
could this be the key
Yeah.
to finally unlocking this mystery?
Right. And that's where things get really interesting.
They do.
Because one of the most explosive developments in this trial has been the testimony
Okay.
of Brueckner's former cellmate,
Interesting. Okay.
who goes by the name Loreno C.
Hold on. Before we jump into that,
Okay.
it's very important that everyone understands something.
Yeah. What's that?
This current trial is completely separate from the Madeline McCann case,
Okay.
even though they're obviously linked in a lot of people's minds.
Right, they are.
Brueckner hasn't been charged in connection with Madeline's disappearance at all.
Okay.
Yet.
Yeah, right. But this is why everyone is paying attention. Loreno C. claims that while he was in prison with Brueckner,
Mm-hmm.
Brueckner confessed to him.
Wow. Yeah.
And the details of that alleged confession are pretty disturbing.
So Loreno C. is alleging that Brueckner admitted to abducting children in Hanover, Germany,
Uh-huh.
using a bus, and then tragically raping them.
And what's even more significant is that Loreno C. claims that Brueckner described a scenario
Okay.
that sounds very similar
Uh-huh.
to the circumstances surrounding Madeline's disappearance.
So this is huge
It is.
for the Madeline McCann case
Yeah.
because it's one of the few pieces of potential evidence
Yes,
that directly links Brueckner to the abduction of a child.
that's right.
But, and this is a big BUT,
Okay.
there is a growing cloud of skepticism
Yeah.
hanging over Loreno C's testimony.
The defense team is doing everything they can to discredit him.
Of course.
They're suggesting that Loreno C. might be making things up
Yeah.
or exaggerating for some sort of personal gain.
Yeah, like maybe a reduced sentence.
Right.
Or notoriety.
Or who knows.
Right.
And then an expert from the BKA,
Oh, what?
that's Germany's equivalent of the FBI,
Okay.
was called to testify.
Okay.
And this expert confirmed that Brueckner did mention some elements of Loreno C.'s account during questioning,
Okay.
but he never actually confessed to everything.
So that's where it gets tricky.
It really does.
How much weight should we give to this former cellmate's statements?
Right.
Can we trust his word?
It's a big question.
And how will the judge interpret all of this? Because the judge's opinion in this trial could have a ripple effect
Yeah.
on the future of the Madeline McCann investigation.
Right. And the Judge Ute Lampe actually made a pretty significant statement
Yeah.
back in July.
What was that?
She expressed doubts about the strength of the evidence
Yeah.
that has been presented so far.
Not a good sign for the prosecution.
Not really, no,
Yeah.
which raises the question.
Yeah.
Could Brueckner actually be acquitted?
Of these current charges. But if that happens, what happens to the possibility of charging him in connection with Madeline?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
Could an acquittal in this trial make it harder to build a case against him in the future?
Especially if some of the same witnesses are involved?
Exactly. This trial is being closely watched
Yeah.
by investigators and legal experts
Around the world.
because it could set a precedent
Wow.
for how future proceedings might unfold.
It's almost like we're witnessing a legal chess match.
Yeah,
In real time.
it is.
Every move could alter the whole game.
And the stakes are incredibly high.
Yeah. You're right.
We're talking about the potential for justice
Right.
for multiple victims.
Including potentially Madeline McCann.
Right.
So before we delve deeper into the implications of all this, let's just take a step back.
Okay.
Look at the bigger picture.
Right.
What stands out to you so far about all of this?
Well, to me,
Ugh.
the pressure on everyone involved is immense.
It's like they're bouncing on a tightrope.
Yeah,
The prosecution, the defense, the judge.
They're all under scrutiny,
Yeah.
knowing that every decision they make could have huge consequences.
And millions of people around the world are emotionally invested in this case.
They are.
They're desperate for answers.
That public pressure can be tough.
It is a double-edged sword.
It keeps the case in the spotlight,
Which is good.
generates leads, keeps the investigation moving forward,
Right.
but it can also create a climate of just speculation and rumor.
And that makes it so hard to separate fact from fiction.
It does.
This is a good reminder that justice has to be based on evidence,
Yes.
not public opinion
Right?
or emotional appeals.
Exactly.
And this is why this trial is so crucial.
It is.
It's a chance to examine the evidence
Yeah.
against Brueckner in a methodical and impartial way.
Yeah. Regardless of the outcome, this trial is giving us valuable insights. Brueckner's character, his past behavior, his potential connection to other crimes.
And this brings us back to the Madeline McCann case.
It does.
Remember, even if Brueckner is acquitted of these charges, it doesn't rule him out as a suspect in her disappearance.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't. An acquittal just means that the prosecution couldn't meet that burden of proof for
No.
these specific charges.
Right.
It doesn't mean he's innocent.
It's like a puzzle.
Yeah,
We have some pieces,
right.
but we don't have all of them.
We don't, and we're still trying to figure out how they fit together.
Right. And this trial is giving us some clues.
It is, and let's not forget the human element.
Yeah.
At the heart of this,
Absolutely.
Madeline's parents,
Right.
Kate and Jerry McCann.
They have spent nearly 2 decades
I know.
searching for answers,
It's heartbreaking.
enduring agonizing uncertainty
Yeah.
and relentless media attention. It's incredible.
It is.
The strength and resilience that it takes to keep fighting for your child
After all this time.
after all this time, and they haven't given up hope.
They haven't, and neither should we.
No, we should not.
Their dedication is a testament to the power of love,
Yes, it is.
the enduring belief
Yeah.
that even in the darkest of times, the truth can come to light.
And speaking of truth,
Yeah.
we have to acknowledge that the outcome of this trial
Right.
is still uncertain.
Very much so.
The judge's doubts about the evidence
Yeah.
have raised some serious questions
They have.
about whether the prosecution can get a conviction.
So if Brueckner is acquitted,
Right.
what happens next?
Yeah. Does the investigation into Madeline's disappearance just go cold again?
That's what everyone's wondering. Or does this trial provide new avenues for exploration?
Despite the uncertainties.
Right. It's a question on everyone's mind.
Yeah.
And it highlights how these two cases
Mhm.
are intertwined.
They're separate but intertwined.
Yeah.
We're at a crossroads with both of these cases.
Yeah, the decisions made in that courtroom in Germany could impact the search for Madeline.
Yeah. Across continents.
It's a global story.
It is. For almost 20 years now, people all over the world have been captivated by this.
It really touches on some universal fears,
It does.
especially for parents.
That, what if it were my child feeling?
Yeah, and that's why so many people are invested
Yeah.
in seeing this through to some kind of resolution.
And that brings us back to that central question.
Yeah, the one we posed earlier.
If Brueckner is acquitted of these charges, what does that mean for Madeline?
What will it mean for the search for answers? Will it be a setback?
Or could it open up new possibilities?
Well, on the one hand, it might seem like a blow to the investigation
It would.
if he's acquitted
Yeah, because the prosecution failed to convince the court that he's guilty.
of these specific crimes.
Right. But as we said, an acquittal in this trial doesn't automatically mean he's innocent.
No, it doesn't. It just means they didn't meet that burden of proof
Right.
to get a conviction.
And the investigation into Madeline's disappearance is separate.
Yeah, it is.
It can continue no matter what happens in this trial.
Exactly. Investigators could use information from this trial to help.
In their ongoing effort.
Yeah, like witness testimonies, evidence, presented the judge's rulings.
To inform their decisions.
Yeah, they could uncover new leads.
Re-examine old evidence.
Explore different theories.
So this trial could actually be a catalyst.
No matter the outcome.
For new developments in the Madeline McCann case.
It's like shaking a kaleidoscope.
Oh, I like that.
You shake it even if that initial picture isn't complete.
Right.
The act of shaking it creates a new pattern.
A new perspective.
That might bring us closer to the truth.
And sometimes the path to justice is long and winding.
It is full of twists and turns.
But the pursuit of truth and accountability
should never be abandoned.
Especially when a young life hangs in the balance.
And that brings us back to Madeline's parents.
Kate and Jerry.
Their commitment to finding their daughter has never wavered.
Their strength is remarkable.
It is.
Their hope and resilience is an inspiration.
It really is.
So no matter what happens with this trial, the search for Madeline continues.
It does.
We can only hope that someday, somehow, the pieces of this puzzle will fall into place.
That would be amazing.
Bringing closure to this mystery.
And peace.
To those who have been affected by it.
I think as you follow this case, it's important to think about how the passage of time impacts our perception of justice.
That's a good point.
Does it make the search for truth even more crucial?
Thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.